The thing about what the gray school is really, really good for, it's the secular approach to the study of magic. It's the essays and the learning and the intricacies of the whys and the hows, right? In a bunch of different cultures. There's information that's in there that is part of closed traditions that cannot be practiced or should not be practiced outside of those closed traditions because there's more to it than what people understand. There's a reason why these things
Right.
are. And if you know the reason why those things are done, you can approach it with the reverence that it deserves and it respects, right? And that's where the academy steps out of the secular and we provide an introduction. The academy isn't about, at least what I teach for it, it isn't about getting the individual magician to the best of their thing immediately. It's about
Right.
them through the door so that they're prepared enough. So when they approach those mentors, those leaders, those closed tradition houses, they have the foundation that's strong enough that they can get their magic to work or their spiritual connections to work. But then they have to go and learn the way it works for that culture, the way it looks for those people, the way it looks for that tradition, if they want to go deeper with those paths. This is why knowing who deals with like Jason Reed and the Maoshan Taoist sects and the things that are required of the Maoshan Taoist versus the lay person who's not part of a lineage Taoist sect, or like with what Keith will be doing as he connects to his rights later this year when he opens up the ability to start taking on direct mentees, right? Like this is why he's been cultivated by his mentors currently and started offering the classes that he has is because he's gotten permission to do so, right? But those are closed traditions. They require a mentor. They require the training of the person above you. And so as the academy builds and grows, it's leading away from the general information that's available to everybody and gets it into direct practice, right?
Okay.
It gets it into them being able to take their practice of sorcery and say, I'm practicing Icelandic sorcery like Keith can do, and he can say it in the language. He knows the lore and the history and the cultures and the foods to offer. He knows the why and the how, the same way Jason does with Taoism, the same way Mal Strangefellow does with the Order of St. Cyprian, the same way other friends of mine do who run other institutions for the training of magic.
Right.
And so it's not just about what I've taught or what I go on and lecture on for these last 9 months with you. It's so that you have the foundation. So when you start to work with Keith, you're able to practice immediately. You're able to get these responses. You're able to see the similarities between external systems that are built upon frameworks that's commonly available, right? Like I reference the books that they come from. I tell you what I've done with it and I share how it goes and you're getting these responses, right? We pull on techniques from the True Grimoire, the Grimoire Verum, when we write out material in mystical ink, right? Made of the right ingredients, conditioned of the right things through an alchemical process using a grid design or a mandala to create a gateway, right? We're looking at a Buddhist magic when I'm talking about these sorts of things, but it's a doorway between this world and the other world. And we combine that via alchemical process, principles and conditions of the natural world to achieve an effect, right? And we just finished a spell. What just happened?
My cat's running around the house acting like a horse, meowing. Literally, like she's going nuts.
Right? So when we bring these entities, these energies, these forces down, they have a tangible effect in the environment.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
An immediate tangible effect on the environment. And if your spiritual practices aren't yielding these kinds of immediacies, I'm not saying your spiritual practice is wrong. I'm saying there's something missing.
Right.
And that's what we do, is find what's missing so your stuff starts to work, right? In the same way we are running these challenges, in the same way that we're doing all of the things that we're doing in a bunch of different ways. It's not about getting you the best wins possible. That's an amazing side effect, should it happen for you in your way, right?
Right.
But it's about getting you that traction. Phyllis and her funnel, so she now has a thing that she can send out to talk about her courses. It's done, it's ready, right? Took an hour and a half, right? You did this in about 10 minutes, changed your environment directly because you already did the work. You knew what the energies were. You knew how to direct the energy out of your body. You knew what it was that you were doing because you had already built the array. You had already done that. This replicates a spell that we've cast months ago, several times by now. You light the ingredient on fire, you say the thing, you have it on the thing, and boom, change. Right?
Right.
And so it's simple, but complex. And spiritual practice should be as simple as you can to connect to the most complex divine forces that man has no words for. Humanity has no words to describe what it is that's going on because there's mechanics at play that we're not allowed to observe directly. We can only observe it through divination. We can only observe it through secondary mediumship.
Right.
Before or after the event, because during the event, it's a singularity compression. It is so much information. There's the useful information and there's the non-useful information. And there's that separation of intent that has to occur. That's why we have to get very, very specific, right? So there's all sorts of nuance that we can start to talk about. And this is why the path of sorcery. This is why everything becomes a mentorship journey. And I'm not about like, oh, once off. Like once off spells and clients are great, but it's this journey that people go on that changes everything.
Exactly.
So I welcome you to join Mike. I welcome you to join our community. I welcome you to come to these events and see how we can get it to go in your way, right? What is the way that you walk out your life and how do we create as a result of that opportunity for you to experience the same kinds of spiritual revelation, industrial revolution, or personal transformation that you're looking to achieve. And it's not a sales thing. It's just a, hey, you want to come and try this on because your shit's not working,
Right.
or you're stuck, or you're looking at the shiny objects out there, but you have an idea. You're just, where are you with it? Does anybody ask you that when you're going to these gurus? Is anybody asking you, what are you stuck with? They're telling you about their shit, but are they asking you, what are you stuck with? What do you need to do next? Right? Is it Phyllis and her funnel? Is it Mike and some spellcraft? Right? What is it that's going on that you need these things for? And what kind of a platform are you trying to build for your thing? Who are you trying to share it with? Why are you trying to share it? So if you ask yourself those questions, that's what we do. That's why we mastermind. That's why we project. That's why we have community rooms that last for hours, is because there's always something to get into the weeds for. This is, what are you stuck in the weeds with? You know? And if you smoke weed, all the better. We'll have a green room.
Right.
Right? We'll have regular rooms, and then we'll have the green room, because there's that ancient belief that if you can discuss something while your mind is clear, and you discuss it when your mind is a little fuzzy and you're thinking about all the different ways that it could connect, right? Both of those things together are required to begin conversations that aren't fussy.
Right.
They're talking about very serious things, but they're not in a strict, rigid environment. They can be rigid. You have to do things in a certain order sometimes. Otherwise, shit won't work. But that's the way of the world. So if you're looking to improve your world, if you're looking to improve your community as a direct result of what you're doing, then I welcome you to reach out. I welcome you to join our community groups. And I look forward to seeing you there, my friends.